Hey coaches, first thing, thank you so much for taking the time to be a coach of your child's baseball team. Now some of you were eager to volunteer, and others of you got that email or that phone call that said, we're in trouble, we need volunteers, can you just do something? And now it's the season and you're thinking to yourself, you have no idea how to run a practice, no idea how to teach or correct some of the things in baseball that we learn at this small age. So what I want to do is make a few videos that show you some of the basics of running, batting, fielding, and throwing. Running, batting, fielding, and throwing. Really easy, really simple things that we're going to do in terms of drills and in terms of fundamentals to make sure that your child learns something but also has a really good time in blast ball, rally cap, junior tadpole, whatever division you happen to be in. So let's run through what a practice could look like with your blast ball, rally cap, junior tadpole guys. I think you're running about a half hour to 45 minutes, and that's not a lot of time. So we want to get down to business pretty quick. The first thing we want to do is start with stretching and running. Now, at that age, stretching, they don't really have muscles that are tight and sore that need to be all stretched out. What we're trying to do is instill good habits. Down the road, when they're older, they're going to need to know that stretching is important. We might as well start that now. So what we want to do is we get our players all kind of around, either in a circle or either in a row in front of you, and you start at their head and you work the stretch all the way down to their feet. So we roll our head down and around, good, and then we take our arm up, point it to the sky, scratch your back, good. Take the other hand, grab your elbow, good. Down, arm to the sky, scratch your back, grab the elbow, a little bit of a pull. Great. Arm circles, airplanes, small, bigger, bigger, biggest. Good. Stop. Do the other direction, backwards. Small, bigger, biggest. Excellent. Hula hoop. Hula hoop. Hula hoop. Hula hoop. Hula hoop the other direction. Hula hoop. Hula hoop. Hula hoop. Good. Stop. Make a fist. Punch the ground. Hold it. Good. Touch your toe. Touch the other toe. Good. Up. Knee to the chest. Balance contest. Make this fun. Knee to the chest. Balance contest. Make it fun. Backwards. Good. Backwards. Good. Ankles. Good. Ankles. Good. Stretching done. Then we're going to run. We're going to run the bases. Line them up at home plate and get them to run to one. Now, Daddy's going to run from this cone to this cone, and he's going to run silly. Do it. Good. Turn around, do it again. Outstanding. Now, Daddy's being a bit of a goofball, but that's cool because this is kind of the running you get to see sometimes. Feet are shuffly. Don't know what to do with our feet. Don't know what to do with our hands. Hands are goofy. It's really important to teach proper running early. I teach Bantam, I coach Bantam, that's 13 and 14-year-olds, and I see a lot of kids who don't know how to run. They're still kind of arms all over the place and stubbing their feet into the ground. So that we want to work on arms, we want to work on feet. So as they're running, what am I going to say? I'm going to say run like a?
Lego man.
Like a Lego man. And the Lego man's arms are stuck this way, and they only move from the shoulders. It's going to look weird at first. But we want to keep those hands and arms tight to our body. So Danny's going to start there, and slowly, with Lego Man, good. Looks a little karate-ish. Do it again. But that's okay. At least now we know what to do with our arms. The next thing we need to do is deal with our feet. And the feet, that's kind of easy. We want to stretch out and kick, stretch and kick, stretch and kick, stretch and kick. So Danny, now you're going to move your feet properly as you're running with good hands. That's a little better. Go. Good. So important. So we're going to pick up the feet, and we're going to do Lego man with the hands. So we're running the bases. Next we'll get into throwing, batting, fielding the ball. All right, let's talk about throwing. There's a couple easy things that we can do to teach our kids good throwing techniques. The first is knock on the door. And we don't knock on the door with our arms straight out like that, right? We have our elbow bent. We're going to knock on the door. That's our target over there. We're going to have our hips and our shoulders. We're going to point at our target. They're all moving in that direction. And then we're going to keep this up and over. That's simple. Arm, knock on the door, throw. Now, when you're practicing throwing, don't do this with partners. Okay, I would do this up against the fence. You've got lots of room up against the backstop with your players. Give them each a ball. Knock on the door. Hips, shoulders, elbows, all moving in the same direction. Throw and throw into the fence. That way they can work on proper arm technique and proper throwing without hurting their partner. Because as well as we can throw the ball, kids are not great at catching right now. So we want to work on our throwing. Let's throw it into the fence and make it safe. So once again, door, shoulders, hips, and elbows pointed at the target, and fire through. Keeping that ball high, and throwing across. All right, let's talk about catching the ball. One thing that I like to do when we're catching with little guys like this is I like not to use a baseball because they miss them a lot and they get hurt, and then all of a sudden we're flinchy. And we don't want to do that. So I've got all sorts of different balls. I've got a tennis ball here. I've got a wiffle ball. I've got a different type of wiffle ball. I've got a third type of wiffle ball. I've got these goofy things that you can get at the dollar store. And you can't see that, but it looks like a baseball, but it's actually squishy and it's made out of fabric. Okay, any type of ball that's about that size, same size as a baseball, but isn't going to hurt if they miss the catch, is a good way to start. So what we want to do, we'll use a tennis ball, is we'll get our player to stand on a cone. Okay, cones are great. Use cones a lot. Not just for drills, but just so that you can say, hey, everybody find a cone and stand near it, just to get them spaced out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to underhand toss the ball to my player. Now look at Danny. Danny's ready to go. He's got his glove up. He's got his other hand behind his glove. We always want to catch with two hands. He's going to watch the ball and he's going to catch it. Good. And he's going to meet the ball. He's going to squeeze the ball. He's going to freeze. Meet, squeeze, freeze. That's important. Get the ball. We'll do it again. He's ready. Throw the ball. Good. Meet, squeeze, freeze. Okay, Danny, show me one way that people catch sometimes is kind of goofy. Sure? They swat at the ball. We don't want to swat at the ball. We want to meet, squeeze, freeze. And another thing that kids like to do is they like to catch like this. Come over here. They like to catch the ball like this. This is a ramp to your face. And we don't want to have a ramp to your face. So we always want to make sure that we teach our kids to catch the ball with their thumb pointed at the ground. Yes, sometimes they're going to have to move. But to start with, thumb pointed to the ground. Let's try it again. Tennis ball. Oh, here we go. He's ready. Underhand toss. You missed it. That's okay. Try it again. Good. When you use balls like this, tennis balls, those foam balls, wiffle balls, don't be afraid of a little bit of speed. These balls, because they're so light, they don't like to stay in the glove. They pop out really easy. A real baseball, you hit the glove and the glove just wraps around that ball. So when you're using these really light balls, give them a little bit of speed so that we can catch and to make it feel like he's actually catching a baseball. Okay, let's talk about batting. I encourage you to use those same type of balls that we were talking about in the catching exercise for batting. You don't want to start with a hard baseball. Kids are naturally kind of afraid to get in there. They don't kind of judge the trajectory of the ball. If they get hit by a hard ball, they're going to start getting flinchy, and we don't want that. These balls, if they get hit by them, no big deal. See, it didn't even bother. So use wiffle balls, use tennis balls, use the squishy balls, and then they can feel confident in this batter's box. If they're really young, brand new, I would encourage even getting like beach balls, those things that you can get at the dollar store or Walmart that are about this big. Right? We want them to make contact and feel good about it. And if we're just whipping ping pong balls at them and they're missing them time and again, that's discouraging. They don't want to play anymore. So get a beach ball and lob it at them and let them hack it out of the air. Anything to make contact to feel good about batting. Now, two things that I see wrong a lot are really narrow in the batting stance, lazy with the hands, kind of standing there. What we want to do with that is make sure that we are athletic, wide feet, bend the knees, get the hands up. Here's Danny, he's ready to go. That's an athletic, that's a nice looking batting stance. Now, the second thing that we see with batters a lot, young batters, is the spin around. Danny, show me the spin. When they swing, yeah, and they spin all over the place. You see that a lot. They spin and all of a sudden they're up. A wide batting stance will help with that. Give me wide. Show me wide feet. Okay, that's a little too wide. Maybe bring it in a little bit. But then we want to tell them where to hit the ball. If we say, hey, I want you to hit the ball over there. This is opposite field. So for a right-handed batter, we want him to hit it down first base, towards the second baseman, that type of thing. If he's now thinking, I'm going to hit it over there, give us a swing. There. That's a nice swing that doesn't spin him around. So two things to look for when you're teaching batting. Wide stance, athletic, put the hands up. Again, the term is athletic. And then help them to try and hit the ball. Think about hitting the ball to the opposite field to avoid the spin around. Okay, let's talk about fielding ground balls. Two things to look for. A lot of kids, when they first do ground balls, their feet are way too close together. Second thing they do is they bend over at the waist. And at this point, I cannot see the ball. And that's no good. In baseball, we always want to see the ball. So here we have our player, Danny. What we want is to have a wide base. Good. And he's already ready to go. And we sit down. Right? We don't bend over. We sit down and we get really low. And then we take our glove and we put that out. And then we have this hand up here. The ball comes in, alligator. Right? Ball in there, alligator. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our ball, and we're going to have our two players opposite each other, and we're going to get down here, and we're going to roll the ball, and he's going to alligator. Good. And then he's going to do it to me. Alligator. And we're going to do it back. Alligator. And alligator. We want to reach out. We don't want to receive the ball between our feet. We want to get way out in front, get that ball, and pull it up to our midsection. That's something that will help you later on down the road when you're an older player and you're looking for ball transfer. Okay, so if I'm putting a practice together, this is what I would do. When your players are first arriving, get a couple tees. Put the tees down and put a tennis ball or a baseball on top of each tee. And then from about 10 feet back, make two lines. However many kids are showing up, they're just joining in a line. And the whole point of the exercise is to take a ball and try and hit the ball off the tee. It's something fun to do and safe to do while you're checking your players in, doing all the COVID stuff that we have to do right now. Once your team has arrived, you're going to do a little bit of running. We do running, then we'll do stretching. We don't want to stretch our muscles that are cold. So we'll do our running from home plate to first, remembering to pick up our feet, Lego man arms. Maybe we do a second round from home to second, and that's our running. Then we get into our stretching, and we go through our head all the way through our ankles in a stretching routine. You don't have to spend a lot of time there. We just want to get them into that routine of stretching. At that point, we have a quick nice to see everybody. How's everybody doing? And we go out and we break into 3 groups. Each group doing a different drill. So I might break my groups into batting, throwing and catching, and fielding. So at the batting station, they'll be working on wide base, athletic stance, and then hitting out at the ball, imagining the ball going into the opposite field, and I'm using wiffle balls and tennis balls and soft things and maybe large beach ball type things so that we give our kids the best opportunity to hit the ball. And let me just say this, I see a lot of parents, a lot of coaches at the young level, they're trying to throw the ball as slowly as possible, and what happens is they throw it and it's this huge arcing ball that comes down, and we think we're doing them a favor by trying to throw it as slowly as possible. Problem is that ball is coming down at them and they're trying to hit that, and it's like hitting a curveball in slow motion. Don't worry about a little velocity. Throw it underhand, but let it go straight. Get a straight arc in there. Fast but straight is a much easier thing to hit than really slow in this arcing, looping thing. Very frustrating, very difficult. So don't be afraid of a little bit of velocity. It'll actually be easier for your kids to hit the ball because they don't have to watch it fall out of the sky. So one of my groups is doing batting. One of my groups is doing throwing. Maybe they're doing it into the fence, or maybe they're throwing to a parent helper, right? So at the early stages, we want to make sure they're not throwing it at each other. Later on, when we're more confident in our throwing and our catching, yes, of course we're going to pair up. But when we're first starting, at a fence, at a net, at a coach or a parent, this is the way to go. And again, use a tennis ball, use a foam ball, use a wiffle ball, to get that arm motion working properly. And then my third group is going to be out doing fielding, and they're going to be rolling balls back and forth to one another, and then maybe lengthening out the distance between the two of them. 5 minutes on each station, switch. 5 minutes on each station, switch. Get everybody going through all the stations. That's 15 minutes, let's be honest, it probably goes a little bit longer, so you're 16, 17 minutes. You've done 5 minutes at the beginning, you're 25 minutes. Your practice is almost over. If you're able to run some kind of game where you've got kids in the field and a couple kids batting, and you're underhand tossing the ball, and they're hitting, and they're running to one, and the other kids are fielding the ball and trying to throw that ball to one. The whole point is getting to the first base and not worrying about the rest of the second, running to second, running to three, running home. Just get them to go from home to one. Play as much actual baseball as possible. That's the way to go. Hit it off the tee, do a little running, do a little stretching, 3 drills, a game at the end, you're done.